determinism. This new scientific worldview saw nature as dead matter for human utilization. Going further back in time, medievalist Lynn White Jr., in a famous article entitled "The Historical Roots of Our Ecologic Crisis," argued that indifference to nature originated in early medieval Europe, when the distribution of land was no longer based on the needs of a family, but rather on the capacity of a power machine, the 8-oxen plow, to till the earth. Man's relation to the soil was profoundly changed. Formerly, man had been part of nature. Now he was the exploiter of nature. Behind the machine, White continued, was a new religious view of the world. By destroying pagan animism, Christianity made it possible to exploit nature in a mood of indifference to the feelings of natural objects. Long before the Middle Ages, environmental scientist Earl Ellis and his colleagues argued, relatively small human populations likely caused widespread and profound ecological changes more than 3,000 years ago. Taking an even wider chronological view, environmental historian Sing Chu claimed that the history of civilizations, kingdoms, empires, and states is also the history of ecological degradation and crisis. Such a historical trajectory of human macroparasitic activity has occurred at the system-wide structural level for at least the last 5,000 years. Finally, climatologist William Rudiman traced the beginning of the human impact on the planet to the first farmers and herders of the Neolithic Age, some 10,000 years ago. What this debate shows is the very human yet futile custom of attaching dates to a long-term process. The human impact on the environment began in a very small way very long ago, but grew gradually in fits and starts until the 18th century, then began to rise ever more sharply at an accelerating pace until the present. What has changed over time was not the desire of humans to exploit their environments, but the technological and organizational means they developed and employed against the rest of nature, and their consequences. Humans and nature. All living beings survive by extracting resources from their environments. In the process, they compete with other living beings. Some flourish, some barely survive, and some become extinct. Yet nature has ways of preventing any one species from overwhelming and destroying the others. One way is by limiting the supply of resources available in a given environment. For each species, the environment's carrying capacity fluctuates widely due to predation, diseases, climate change, and other factors. Lynxes survive by eating rabbits, so once they have decimated the rabbits in their area, many lynxes will starve, allowing the rabbit population to recover, followed by a recovery of the lynx population, and so on. Another way is by limiting the amount of resources any given creature can absorb at one time. A lion, having lunched on a gazelle, will take a nap in the shade of a tree, digesting his meal before undertaking another hunt. Humans, however, continue to take resources from their environment long after their needs are met. In 19th century America, hunters armed with rifles killed as many bison as they could, taking only their tongues, sometimes shooting them for the sheer pleasure of killing. Long before Europeans came with their rifles, American Indians stampeded herds of bison over cliffs in order to take the meat from a few of them. Everywhere they went, Stone Age hunters exterminated many of the largest and fiercest animals that roamed the earth. Since the appearance of Homo sapiens, the motivation to take as many resources from the environment as technology allows has been a human characteristic. Much of history consists of humans' gradual acquisition of the means to realize their desires at the expense of the rest of nature. Humans have time and again found ways to overcome the limitations.